श्रीमते शंकरार्याय धीमते भूतशक्तये नमोऽस्त्वद्वैत वेदांत स्थापनोत्थापमूर्तये। श्रीहरिं परमानन्दम् उपदेष्टारमीश्वरम् व्यापकं सर्वलोकानां कारणं तं नमाम्यहम्। अपरोक्षानुभूतिर्वै प्रोच्यते मोक्षसिद्धये सद्भिरेव प्रयत्नेन वीक्षणीया मुहुर्मुहुः। So really, 16th, 17th shloka we have to take up today, 17th onwards. Atma vinishkalo eko deko bahubira vritaha. Ottira ನೀವು ಹೇಳ್ತೀರಾ?
ಓದ್ತೀನಿ. ಆತ್ಮ ವಿನಿಷ್ಕಲೋ ಹೇಕೋ ದೇಹೋ ಬಹುಭಿರಾವೃತಃ ತಯೋರೈಕ್ಯಂ ಪ್ರಪಶ್ಯಂತಿ ಕಿಮಜ್ಞಾನಮತಃ ಪರಂ. Atma, self, vinishkalaha, without parts, he indeed, ekaha, one, dehaha, body, bahubihi, with many, avrutaha, made up of, tayoho, of these two, aikyam, oneness, prapashyanti, see, kim, what, ajnanam, ignorance, ataha, than this, param, greater or more.
So the method of vichara has been stated by the Acharya in all these shlokas. So the vichara has to be on these lines. So here the nature of the Atman and how it is distinct from the Anatman that is being stated here in all these shlokas. So the Atma is contrasted with the Anatma. So in this shloka, Atma Vinishkalaha, that is Atman is bereft of parts. Ekaha, it is one only, whereas the dehaha bahubihi avritaha, the body here in this shloka, the Acharya is taking up the case of the Sukshma Shariram, and in another shloka he will take up the case of the Stula Shariram. So now the contrast is between the Sukshma Shariram of the Panchakoshas, that is in the Panchakoshas, as we know, the Stula Shariram is the gross body, that is the Stula Shariram, that is the Sukshma, that distinct from this Sukshma Shariram, which is consisting of the Pranamaya Kosha, the Manomaya Kosha, the Vijnanamaya Kosha, and the Anandamaya Kosha, and the 10 organs, both sense organs and the motor organs. All these constitute the Sukshma Shariram. So in this, the contrast between that and this is, in the Atman is, Atma is with bereft of parts, whereas the Sukshma Shariram, as we now enumerated, it consists of so many parts. And then the Atma is one only, whereas the Sukshma Shariram is many in number. Tayor aikyam prapashyanti kimajnanamatah param. So in ignorance, people take the Sukshma Shariram and the Atman to be one non-different. So they do not know the true nature of the Atman, nor they know the true nature of the Anatman. So there's a mix-up that has happened, which is what Shankaracharya has stated in the very first opening sentences of the Brahma Sutra Bhashya, Adhyasa Bhashya, Yushmadasmat Pratyaya Gocharayoho Tamaprakashate Viruddha Swabhavayoho. So in that he has thought of the contrast so very well. So here also he is doing the same thing here. Atma Vinishkalaha, whereas Vinishkala is, it is bereft of parts, whereas the Sukshma Shariram is endowed with parts. So this kind of distinction is there. While this kind of distinction is there, the taking the two to be one is the height of ignorance. That's what he says. Tayor aikyam prapashyanti kim ajnanam atah param. What greater ignorance can be than this? So in the commentary, which is quite in a detailed manner, Swami Vidyaranya says, Etadeva Jiva Brahmaikya Aikyam Ajnana Pradarsanena Dadayati Atma Ityadi Panchabihi. So in 5 shlokas, this distinction is being brought out. In the previous shloka, the Acharya is giving a link between this shloka and the previous shloka. Aham ekopi sukshmascha jnata sakshi sadavyayaha tadakam natra sandeho vicharasoy midrishaha. So in the previous shloka, the aikyam has been stated. Aham ekaha. I am extremely subtle, and I am the witness of everything. And then I am always of the nature of non-depleting nature. So these are the nature of these are all the attributes of Brahman itself. So I am non-different from Brahman. So the Acharya now says in the commentary, Etadeva Jiva Brahmaikyam Ajnana Pradarsanena Dalayati. So Jiva Brahmaikyam is the truth, whereas Ajnanam is the false. So that the true false, that Satyam Mithya, that distinction is being highlighted here. Yataha Aham Pratyaya Vedyaha Atma Atati Santata Bhavena Jagradadi Sarvavastasu Anuvartate Iti Atma. So here in the shloka, this first word is Atma. So for that, in the commentary, he is giving an etymological meaning for the word Atma. So in Sanskrit, that's a very great, it's a great attribute, or it's the uniqueness of the Sanskrit language, that any word is given an etymological meaning. So you can know the nature of the word, what it conveys. So that is very greatly rendered very great easily possible. They are rendered possible very easily. So for that, this is called the Vyutpatti, that Shabda Vyutpatti. That Vyutpatti is the etymological meaning. That's what is stated in a sentence. So here he says, Yataha Aham Pratyayaha Aham Prate Vedyaha Atma. Aham Pratyaya is the idea or the thought or the concept of I, the I-ness. Everybody has this feeling of I-ness. So this I-ness is the one which indicates that there is an Atma within, and through this word I-ness or this thought or the word I-ness, the Atman is indicated. So that has been stated earlier also in another shloka before. So here he says that this Aham Prati Vedyaha Atma, that Atma, for that word Atma, the etymological meaning is Atati Santata Bhavena Jagradadi Sarvavastasu Anvartate iti Atma. So Atati means that which that which continuously exists all through the various states that come and go in the 40% in the waking life, and of course including the dream life. So in the waking life and the dream life, the jiva experiences a lot of transformations, changes, and all that. So all that whenever such changes come and go, the Atma never comes and goes. The Atma is always subsisting. So that's what's the meaning of Atati. Atati means subsisting. So Atma Santata Bhavena, as its nature is of subsisting always, continuously, without any break, Santata Bhavena, Jagradadi Sarvasu Avastasu Anvartate iti Atma. So many states we experience. So the most popular one in the Vedanta is the Jagrat, Swapna, and Sushupti. That is a waking, dream, and deep sleep. And in these 3 states, all the other states are also included. So these 3 states subsume all the other states. And what could be the other states? For that, we get a beautiful explanation in the Dakshinamurti Stotram. Balyadishvapi Jagradadishu Tata Sarva Swavasthasvapi Vyavritta Svanvartamanamaham Ityantaspurantam Sada. So Swatmanam Prakati Karoti Bhajatam Yo Mudraya Bhadraya Tasmai Shri Gurumurtaye Namayidam Shri Dakshinamurtaye. So in that beautiful shloka, it is very, very important shloka in that whole set of 10 shlokas in the Dakshinamurti Stotram. So there, the entire gamut of a person's life is captured. So Balya is the age of state of being a child, being an infant. So after that, a person grows. So he becomes a youth, and then he grows towards becoming old. And then the old age is there, and then there will be the state of decay, and then death. So that is called shraddha vikara, jayate, asti, vardhate, viparinimate, apakshiyate, nashyati. So these 6 famous popular transformations are there that is experienced by everyone. And then balyadishu, jagradadishu. So the Acharya there, he is capturing all the states. So balyadi is the states of a person's physical life. And then Jagradadi is the state which everyone undergoes by default. Jagrat, Swapna, and Sushupti. Jagradadishu tatha sarvasu avasthasu. So instead of listing everything, he says that sarvasu avasthasu. Here also he says the same thing. Jagradadi sarvasu avasthasu. So avasthasu anvartate. So what could be the other states? The other states could be the state of being happy, the state of being dejected, feeling remorse, feeling sad, all these things, mana, apamana, all these things are included in that. So the ups and downs in life, they are also states of a person only. So all those things are included there. So the state of being ignorant, the state of becoming knowledgeable in various fields. So all these are there. So Jagradadishu sarvasu avasthasu anuvartate. So all those states come and go, whereas Atman is something which never comes and goes. It is always there. And that the Atman is the one which continues forever, has been so very nicely stated by Swami Vidyaranya himself in the Panchadashi. In the first chapter, he says, it's a beautiful shloka, it's worth committing this shloka to memory and contemplating on the meaning of it now and then. The shloka goes like this. Masa abda yuga kalpesho gadagamyesh vanekatha now nodeti nastamet eka samvidesha swayam prabha. So masa abda yuga kalpesho. So before that shloka, he has demonstrated how this Atman is the one which subsists always, whereas the 3 states come and go. So when the waking state is there, the other 2 states are not there. And when the dream state is there, the other 2 are not there. And in the deep sleep state, the other 2 are not there. So that way, each state, when it arrives, it cancels out the other 2 states. So that way, the 3 states cancel out themselves, and ultimately, their status is that they really don't exist. Whereas the Atman is the one which never comes and goes. So it is always there. So the Atman is the substratum on which the 3 states are coming and going. So they arrive and they depart. So this way, the Acharya first demonstrates that in one day, the 3 states come and go alternatively, whereas the Atman never goes away. In this conclusion of one day is extended to all the other periods also, like Masa. In a whole month also, it is going to be the same thing. And Abda is 1 year. So in the whole year also, this truth that we have arrived at after analyzing for one day, that is going to continue for the whole year. Then Masa, Abda, Yuga. Yuga is a very great time unit. So there also the same state continues. And Kalpa is even greater. So Masa, Abda, Yuga, Kalpesho, Gatagamyesho. So many Kalpas have come and gone. So, and they will come also in future also, so many Kalpas will arrive. But then, and they go. But then this Atman will never come and go. That is, it will never subside, nor it will rise. So there is no rise and fall for Atman in all these periods. So if a person contemplates on this, I am going to exist always. I have ever existed, and I will exist forever. And even without the body-mind complex, or even without the whole world, I exist always. So that is the teaching there in the shloka. So here also the Acharya says, Atati santata bhavena jagradadi sarvasu avastasu anvartate iti atma. So that is so much power is packed into the word atma. Then there are other etymological derivations also for atma, which are contained in some Puranas also. Bhagavad Shankaracharya has cited one in the Bhashya. So here, this Acharya says so much for the Atma. Avastatraya bhava bhava sakshitvena Satya Jnanadi Swarupaha ityarthaha. So this Atma is the witness for all the states. Avastatraya Bhava Abhava. So the Avastatraya Bhava is the existence of the Avastatraya, and Abhava is the non-existence of the Avastatraya. That is, when one Avastha is there, the other two Avasthas are not there. So in that way, Abhava. Then Avastatraya Bhava is when one state exists. One after the other, the states come and go, they exist. So, avastatraya bhava abhava sakshittvena. So, when one avastha is there, the Atma illumines that. Then, when the other two avasthas are not there, that also is illuminated by the Atman. So, that is what is stated here. Avastatraya bhava abhava sakshittvena. Satyajnanadi swarupaha ityarthaha. So, now what he has done, the Acharya has beautifully by stating the true nature of the Atman that is existing in the Jivas, in this body, he is now making it catapult, jump to Brahman. So, Satyam Jnanam Anantam is the nature of Brahman that is stated in the Upanishads. So, now the Acharya says, this Atma, which is the Sakshi in every body, which is the witness for the witness of the arrival and departure of all the states, is none other than the Brahman that has been taught in the Upanishads with the attributes Satyam, Jnanam, Anantam. So Satya Jnanadi and Ananda also can be included there. So Satya Jnanadi Swarupaha ityarthaha. So the true nature of this Atman is non-different from the Satya Jnanam, the Swarupa Lakshanam of Brahman. And there Satyam is pure existence, Jnanam is pure consciousness, objectless pure consciousness, and Anandam indicates infinite nature that is free from the three types of limitations that are possible, Deshataha, Kalataha, and Vastutaha. So time-wise, space-wise, and object-wise limitations are not there for Atman. That way it is infinite, and it is pure Ananda Swarupa. So all this, this is actually the nature of Atman. Then that is the nature of Brahman is non-different from the nature of Atman. So that way the Acharya has struck the Atma Brahma, Atma Brahma or Jiva Ishvara Avedam through the Mahavakya. Saha Tvam-pada Lakshyartho-api Tat-pada Lakshyartaha eva. So he says, see the shloka in the shloka, the word Atma in the shloka doesn't give so much of meaning, but then the Acharya in the commentary is giving so much of information about the Atma. So he says, Saha Tvam-pada Lakshyartho-api Tat-pada Lakshyartaha eva. This Atma, we see here in the Mahavakya, Tattvamasi, there are three words, three terms. One is Tat, then Tvam, and Asi. So the Tat indicates that Tvam indicates you or me, I. Then Asi is the identity between these two. So that Tatpada Lakshyartha. So he says the Tatpada normally means Brahman, which is the cause of the universe, which is endowed with the attributes like omniscience, omnipotence, all-pervading nature, and that is Jagan Niyamakatva. It is the Antaryami of everyone. So all these things are there. But then that is all Savuna. Whereas the Jiva is the Tvam. The Tvam Pada is normally it directly indicates that directly means the one who is embodied, the one who is experiencing the three states, and the one who is undergoing the three states and undergoing samsara. So that is the direct straight meaning for these two words. Whereas the Aikyam, that is the identity, is not possible when these two meanings are taken. So because the Jiva who is ignorant, who is suffering and all that, he can't be Ishvara who is Sarvajna, Sarvashakta, and who is Ananda Swarupa and all that. So the Shastra, it embarks upon a method of Bhagatyaga Lakshana. That is, those parts which are not compatible on both sides, they are rejected, and that part, that amsha, that aspect which is compatible alone is retained. So when this is done, the body-mind complex and all the experiences which are brought for the Atman through the body-mind complex, they are rejected. And then the Sarvagnatva, Sarvashaktitva, the cause the nature of being the cause of the world, that is rejected on the part of the Tat, that is Ishvara, and what remains on both sides is pure consciousness. And so this consciousness, that consciousness, there is no possibility of even talking about two consciousnesses. So that's only one consciousness, and that is what is Brahman. That is the Aikyam. That is the meaning of Aikyam. So he says here, Saha Tvampadartha Lakshyarthopi, that is the Atma, which is the witness of the three states and the witness of the Panchakoshas. It is the Tvapada Lakshyartha, that is the condition, or that is the refined meaning of the word Tvam. And then the refined meaning of the word Tat is, as we said, that as we saw now, is Satyam Jnanam Ananta Brahma. So this Atma, which is, even though it is Tvapada Lakshyartha, it is also the refined meaning of the Tatpadam also, which he has stated before in the previous sentence. Then the second word is taken up, Vinishkalaha. Vinishkalaha means it is free of parts. Kala means part. Visheshena Nirgata Kalaha Niravayavaha Ityarthaha. So the parts are, the Atman is bereft of parts. What it means is, it doesn't have any parts at all. That is, it doesn't have any avayava, that is limbs. For example, the body has got so many limbs, so many parts. The hands are there, feet, hands, feet, the head, back, so many parts are there. And when you go even further inside the body, there are so many other parts also. Whereas the Atman doesn't have any parts at all. So that's why it is called Vinishkalaha or Nishkalaha. So after that is Anyatha Savayavatve Gatadivatve Vinashitva Apatiti iti bhavaha. So the word Nishkalaha is being stated to ward off the possibility of the Atma decay. So the rule is, any object which is made of parts will definitely decay, or will definitely come to an end, or will meet destruction when the parts disintegrate. So that object is now called an object only because all the parts are there in an integrated state. But then when the parts start disintegrating, the object itself will finally cease to exist. So that is the idea. So here the word Nishkalaha is very important to convey the meaning that Atman will never decay at all. It will not disintegrate, or it will not get destroyed at all. So Savayavatve, Savayava is, the Avayava is part. Savayava means something which is endowed with parts. Gatadivatve. So the example given is a pot. Adipadena, so any object you can take. So one might ask, what are the parts in a pot? Because we conceive of a pot, an earthen pot, for example, is one single hole. It is it might have a shape, but then we might not appreciate the idea that it has parts. But then in the Nyaya system, they have got a method of saying that the pot has got two parts. So they distinguish between the two hemispheres. Two hemispheres are there. So the upper one and the lower one. These two coming together is actually making a pot. So the two parts are called, given a separate name, Kapala. Kapala means actually a skull. So it is like a skull. You can imagine a skull, the shape of a skull. So the lower hemisphere of the pot is like a skull. So this is the way they say. So that way they have got two parts. The pot has got two parts. So Gatadivate, Adipadene, any object for that matter will have parts. So Anyatha Savaivatve, Gatadivate, Vinashitva Patihi. Vinasha means it will get destructed when the parts disintegrate. Then Atra Hetuku Ekaha. So how do you call that it is non-indestructible and it is without parts and all that? For that, the reason given here in the shloka is Ekaha. It is one only. So one means it does not have Sajatiya Veda, it does not have Vijatiya Veda, nor does it have Swagata Veda. That is, there is no Atma, second Atma, like this Atma. Then there is nothing which is contrast to the Atma, that is also not real. So that's called Mithya. So we can't count the Mithya object as a second to the Atma. Nor the Atma has any internal parts. So Ekaha, it is only one only. Iti Ekameva Dvitiyam Ityadi Shruti Prasiddhim Shudyota iti. So in the shloka, the word is he ekaha. That is the third word is actually it's a combination of two words, ekaha. So the he and ekaha together makes ekaha. So he means he is indicative of something which is very popular, well known. That meaning is there. And so here the Acharya takes that meaning and says that he indicates that the Atma that is spoken of here is Nishkalaha, and that Atma is very popular in the Shruti, that is the Upanishads. Then what is the Upanishad that the word Ekaha is very popular in the Upanishad. The Upanishad passage is Ekameva Advitiyam Ityadi Shruti Prasiddham Dhyotayati Prasiddhim Dhyotayati. So in the Chandogya Upanishad, this passage occurs Ekameva Advitiyam for Brahman. Before the world was created, the world was none other than Brahman, its cause, which Brahman is Ekam Eva Advitiyam. So it is one only without the three types of three types of Vedas that we saw. That is Sajatiya, Vijatiya, Swagata Veda, Rahitam, Brahma. So that is the meaning of this sloka, of this passage, Ekam Eva Advitiyam. And this Atma is said to be Eka is because of the Prasiddhi in the Upanishads that it is Eka. So that word Eka occurs in that passage also. That's why he says it is one only without any second, anything second of its kind, not second of any kind, nor any internal differences. Ityadi Shruti Prasiddham Prasiddhim Dhyotayati. Now he takes up a question. Nano Tatha Lingadehopi Asti iti Chet Metyaha Deha iti. But then how can you say Atma is one only? Don't we have the Sukshma Shariram? Is not the Panchakoshas together? Does it not exist? So that question is now addressed here. And the reply is in the other half of the first line. Deho Bahubira Avrataha. So now the Acharya starts commenting on that part of the first line. Nanu Tata Lingadehopi asti. Lingadeha means Sukshma Deha. This Linga is actually something which indicates. The word Linga is very popular. All of us know what a Linga is. That is the Shiva Linga, for example. It is called Linga because it indicates the existence of Brahman, which is by itself doesn't have any attributes. So this word Linga is it means Linga Jnapane. That is a dhatu. Linga Jnapane. So Linga means it reminds us of something. It informs us of something. So actually for Saligrama also it can be called Vishnu Linga. That kind of prayoga is there in the Puranas and all that. So Vishnu Linga is also there. Shiva Linga is very popular. So that Linga is the one which indicates the something which does not have any attributes. So what we cannot see with our eyes, that is being represented by this Linga. So that's why when we worship a Linga, the worship is not for that stone or that for that object Linga, but the worship is for the infinite Brahman that is being represented by that object Linga. So here the Sukshma Shariram is called Linga Shariram because the Sukshma Shariram which is experienced by us is indicative of the Atman which is behind, which is not seen by us, which is not directly experienced by us, unless, of course, taught by the Upanishad. The Sukshma Shariram, by its nature, by its various activities like thinking, speaking, or seeing, or hearing, all these things are there performed by the Sukshma Shariram. So the Sukshma Shariram, which is made up of the Panchabhutas, is by itself inert. But then it is performing so much of activities seen being performed by the Sukshma Shariram. So that means we have to infer the presence of the sentient Atman behind which is responsible for the activity of the Sukshma Shariram. So that way, the Sukshma Shariram, which is seen by us, indicates the unseen Atman, which is inferred. This inference can be translated to the popular inference of inferring entering the fire on the mountain by seeing the smoke. So the smoke alone is being seen by us. The fire is not seen by us at that juncture, in that location, in that locus. So by seeing the smoke, we infer the presence of the fire there. So there also in that Tarka language, that smoke is called linga. So linga. So smoke is a linga there because that's the one which indicates the existence of fire there. So anyway, in this part of the commentary, the Acharya says, Nanu tatha lingadevopi asti iti chen netyaha. So when a person raises the question, how can you say Atman alone is there? Don't we have this linga shariram? Then he says, Deho linga deha sukshma shariram iti yavate. So in this shloka, the word deha, which occurs in the first line, that word deha is actually body. But then this body is actually the subtle body and not the gross body, which is taken up in the next, in another shloka here, which is yet to come. So saha bahubihi kalabihi shrotradi buddhyantabihi saptadashabihi avritaha achaditaha tat sanghataha iti atyataha. So the shloka first line, degaha bahubihi avritaha. Bahu is many. Avritaha is something which is enclosed or which is surrounded by so many. So what are these so many? The Acharya says here, Bahubihi kalabihi. Kala is part. Shrotradi buddhyantabihi. So he starts from the Jnanendriya and he ends with Buddhi. Buddhi is the Vijnanamaya kosha. So Jnanendriya 5. These constitute 17 entities are there, 17 parts are there. So each part is an entity by itself. So the Saptadashabihi Avritaha Achaditaha, that is, it is closed, it is covered, it is enclosed by these 17 objects. And what are those 17 objects? 5 Jnanendriyas, 5 Karmendriyas, 5 Pranas, Manas and Buddhi. So the 17 things are enclosing the Atman, making the Atman unseen or unexperienced by us. So here is so with this we will stop this session. We have covered the first line. So the second line is yet to be covered. We'll take it up in the next class. Shri Harim Paramanandam Upadeshtaram Ishwaram Vyapakam Sarvalokanam Karanam Tam Namamyaham. Aparokṣānubhūti प्रोच्यते मोक्षसिद्धये सद्गुरेव प्रयत्नेन वीक्षणीया मुहुर्मुहुः विद्याविनयसम्पन्नं वीतरागं विवेकिनं वन्दे वेदान्ततत्त्वज्ञं विदुषेखरभारतीम् ओम।